Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. As I see you guys here today, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Jan. It is wonderful to see my friends gathered here today, as always, as we come together to say some good stuff about us. As we come together to really reaffirm all of the amazing parts of ourselves, and not only that, but as we reaffirm the amazing parts of ourselves, that we also see the amazing parts of each other. Good morning, Jin. Nice to see you here today as well. Yeah, and so again, yeah, quite the crowd that I have here this morning. A couple of you guys have commented, but if you're watching this and you haven't commented yet, I would love for you just to make a comment and let me know that you're here so that I can love on you the same way that I'm loving on all these other beautiful people who are here today. Anyway, yeah, so we're here today to say some good stuff about us. We're going to be doing it with my deck of I am cards. Good morning, Kelly. Nice to see you today as well. Yeah, so we're going to be doing it with this deck of I am cards. I'm going to pull a card off the top of the deck. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. We are going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. As we use these very powerful words, we bring these affirmations into our now moment, into our present. And we have great, tremendous power in the present moment to do whatever we choose, to be whoever we choose to be. And so as we do that, as we recognize that we have this incredible power right now in order to continue to be the best people that we possibly can be, it gives us this tremendous sense of freedom, because the people that we were yesterday, we don't have to be those people today. We don't have to be the people that we were yesterday. We can be somebody new. So let's have some fun and pull a card and be reminded, today that let's see here, that this is our daily reminder that you are approachable. You are approachable. Your presence invites connection and trust. So you are approachable. Your presence invites connection and trust. Are you approachable? You are approachable. Your presence invites connection and trust. And so I'm going to write that down in the comments. I'm going to write down that I am approachable, because my presence also invites connection and trust. In fact, Jan has beaten me to it as always, but I am approachable. My presence invites connection and trust. And when I look around at the people who surround me, I recognize that I am an approachable person, and that the people around me are also approachable people. And how is it that we are approachable? What is it that makes us so able to be approached? And of course, the answer is that it's our energy. It's what we put out there into the world. It's the way that we choose to interact with others. It's the way that we choose to make others feel when they do come to us and they trust us with their energies. We are approachable people, and being approachable is a superpower. It is a superpower to be able to be approached by others, to be able to be collaborative with others, for our presence, for our energy to be open and inviting, for our ability to have that connection and to have that trust. That is a superpower, because how could we ever collaborate with other people except that they are able to approach us, except that they are able to connect with us, except that they are able to trust us? And one of the reasons that we are so approachable is that we also are able to connect with and trust others. It's not always easy to trust other people. It's not always easy to connect with other people. I remember that when I was younger, that I didn't feel like I was an approachable person at all, nor did I feel like I was ever able to approach others. I was kind of standoffish with the world. And this was a comment that quite a few of the people who were close to me would tell me. They would basically say, "Hey, you're not just the way that you're living, the way that you interact, it's just not very approachable." And I always wondered, I'm like, well, how can I change that? Because in the end, of course, I wanted human connection. in the end, I was very interested in being loved for who I was and being accepted for who I was, and yet at the same time, I felt like I was pushing people away, not because I intended to, but because of my own ways of being. And the thing that really flipped the switch for me, and that allowed me to be more of an approachable person, was when I recognized that life was not about me. It was not about the way that I saw things, and I didn't always need to be right. And when I gave up my need to always be right, when I gave up my need to somehow be better than the people around me, and oh goodness, I have no idea where such an idea came from, but it didn't serve me at all. But when I gave up that idea, people started to come and just talk to me, and I felt like I finally was approachable. I finally did have that connection where people could get to know me, where they could get to trust me, where they could get to connect with me. And so I am approachable. And my presence invites connection and trust. But the flip side of this is that I'm also willing to approach others. I'm willing to see somebody that I don't know anything about and then just go and give them a big smile and say, "Hi, I'm Paul. Hi. I don't know you. I don't know you very well, but that doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means I don't know you. And so let me get to know you and find some things that I like about you and find some things that I care about you and find some way that you are interesting to me and that you are just an interesting person." And as I got over myself and recognized that the people around me were just as interesting as I was, just as beautiful as I was, who were just as seeking of love and attention and affection and approval as I was, when I recognized that my own that my own social anxiety that I would sometimes have was not just mine, but that everybody has that sometimes, that we all experience that we all sometimes experience when we go into a new place and we don't know anybody, and how nice it is when somebody comes up to us and says, "Hi, I'm Paul. Let's I don't know you, but I'd like to know you, and how can I introduce you around? How can I get to know a little bit about you so I can point you in the right direction as to where it is that you would best fit in this new situation that you find yourself in?" But as I do that, and as other people have done that with me, I found that it's really given me a sense of humility. It's given me a sense of where I have to focus on other people. I have to focus on their needs. I have to care about them for a little while. And in doing so, that is what invites that connection. That is what invites that trust. Because when I was all about myself, when I thought that social interaction meant teaching other people about me as opposed to learning about them, then that connection really wasn't there. Even when I would try to approach people, even when I would go and attempt to make a friend, who wants to be friends with somebody who is all about themselves? It's it's very important for us to recognize that the folks around us need us to care about them. The people around us need us to care about who they are, and to help them to realize that they are accepted for who they are wherever they find themselves. So this card today is our permission slip. It is our invitation to approach people that we don't know. And when somebody talks to us who we don't know, to really expect the best out of them. And in doing so, to invite that connection, to foster that trust. Because when we really think about it, all of the great benefits that have ever come into our lives have come through other people. They have come because of people that we didn't know, and that from people that we didn't know that we got to know. And when I think about all the amazing and beautiful things that have happened in my life, it's exactly the same. It's come through people. It's come through other human beings. And how else would I get to know those other human beings except that I'm willing to go up and say hello, that I'm willing to give them a smile, that I'm willing to give them the benefit of a doubt. I'm willing to say, "Hey, I don't know you yet, but man, I'm really excited to get to know you." And when I have gotten to know somebody, it has never disappointed me. It has never it's never been something where I was unhappy for having gotten to know them, but rather I'm always thrilled to have gotten to know them. I'm always like, wow, now that I have gotten to know you a little bit, and now that you've gotten to know me, I can see that we have various ways that we're connected. And even when I've met people that I didn't think that I was going to have much of a relationship with, nevertheless, I could always still find something interesting about them. And so you are approachable. Your presence invites connection and trust. And let's be approachable today, and let's be bold to approach others. Let's make new friends today, because we never know where those new friendships will take us. We never know what the person around us that we know nothing about can do for us, or what we can do for them. And what an honor it is to be able to do something for somebody else. What a beautiful thing, because how many times has somebody been able to do something for you that that you never would have been able to do for yourself? So we are approachable people. And in order for us to expand our ideas into this world, in order for us to build the sorts of things that we are interested in building, the gigantic projects that take more than one person to accomplish and fulfill, we have to be able to trust and connect with the people around us. As the proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you don't want to go far, go together. Life is a going far kind of a game. And so we go there together with the people around us, with our communities, with our friend groups, with just by with, you know, with the teams that we choose to join, the ways that we choose to be organized as a species. And so as we go far together, let us realize that the people that we're going far with have an outsized effect on our lives. It's very important. We must choose these people carefully, and we must choose people who are going into, that are going in the direction that we also are interested in going. As we do that, as we align our energies with other people that are going in that same direction, we have the ability to really, we have the ability to really increase our momentum. So I am approachable today, and I am open to being approached by people, by situations. I am open to having somebody who I don't know come up and introduce themselves to me. I am open to going into new places where I don't know anybody, and going into these places and these situations confident that I might go into that situation without anybody that I know, but I sure will be coming out of that situation with at least one new friend. So I'm approachable today. You are approachable too. Our connection invites, or our presence invites connection and trust. It looks like you guys have been like way up, all up in the comments today. So let's see what you guys have to say. Let's see here. Let's see. Dan says I'm approachable and I have a great face for radio. Yeah. So I've heard. I actually have been on the radio before, and it's always interesting. So I've been on the radio in a couple of different places in a couple different states, and it was always interesting when I would just would tune into the radio, and there would be a rerun of one of the interviews that I'd done or something like that. I'd be listening to myself on the radio, and just kind of it would always take me back to that. It would always take me back to that to that radio studio and to the people that I was interviewing with, etc. Let's see. Shauna says I'm approachable, though no longer always accommodating. Yeah, being approachable doesn't mean that we necessarily always need to accommodate all of other people's thoughts. A lot of times people have thoughts that are just not acceptable to us, and that's okay. But we can be approachable. We can love the parts of the people that we can love the parts of the people that we that are edifying to us, and that help us out, and that are in line or in alignment with our beliefs, and just sort of like let the rest go. Even when there are people that I don't particularly like, I can always find at least a little bit that I like about them, and that's the part that I choose to connect with. And I found that even when somebody gave me a first impression of I don't like this person, that as I have gotten to know them and have found at least one part of them that I liked, it has been so much easier to find other parts of them that I like too. Yeah, and I am no different than anybody else. I am absolutely susceptible to first impressions. I am susceptible to my own snap judgments, and even though I know that the people around me are multifaceted and nuanced, and that even if somebody even if my first my first interaction with somebody is not a very pleasant one, that doesn't mean that they are an awful person. It simply means that I've had one bad interaction with them. But even though I know this for a fact, it's still not super easy always to it's not always super easy to overcome my own snap judgments. And so it's very important for us to realize that no matter if our first impression of somebody is good or bad, that we can still just continue to evaluate them based on the evidence that they present to us. Janet says, "I am now approachable to myself." Ooh, that's a good way of looking at this. I'm approachable to myself. I'm open, inviting to myself. This change in mindset toward myself was a huge shift in my journey. That's a great way of looking at it, Jan. So much of being self-conscious is us judging ourselves. Is us, I find that every once in a while, I'll be walking through the club or something, and I will feel incredibly self-conscious. I will feel incredibly disconnected from all the people around me, even if all the people around me are people that I know and people that I love and people that I care about. And I don't know exactly why that happens, but it does. It does. I feel crushing social anxiety sometimes. And if I'm open to myself and I realize that, hey, I am all of these positive attributes that I claim every morning at 9 a.m. When I realize that, it becomes so much easier for me to get out of my own head about whatever it is that I'm feeling self-conscious about. And oftentimes, what I'm feeling self-conscious about is always a very, very temporary thing, which explains why I don't experience that social anxiety all the time, just sometimes. But when I do, it's always because I'm stuck in my own head about me. And so I can be approachable to myself. I can just realize that, hey, these parts of me that I'm judging right now are still parts of me. And then even though I'm currently focused on some part of myself, some aspect of myself that I am perceiving as being not enough, that I still have all of these other attributes that exist inside of me, and they always have and they always will. So good morning, Eric. It's nice to see you here today. Janet says, when I started internally talking to myself with the same curiosity and compassion that I freely gave to others, my whole life changed for the better for everybody. Yeah, how often? So one thing that I will regularly talk to people about who are in the middle of condemning themselves is I'll just ask them, I'll say, if somebody was saying these words about your friends, would you permit such a thing? Would you permit such an action? Would you be okay with that? If somebody was saying what you're saying about yourself, well, if somebody was saying that about you, or if somebody was saying that about somebody that you loved, well, would you just like sit back and let them say that, or would you take them to task for those incorrect words that are coming out of their mouths? And of course, the answer is always that, oh well, I would defend my friends. If we're willing to defend our friends when people are saying bad things about our friends, why aren't we willing to defend ourselves when we are saying bad things about ourselves? The whole point of these exercises that we do every morning is to change those narratives, is to give ourselves that positive self-talk that we can rely on every single day as we go through our lives. Let's see. Huh. Lauren says, I know some people that I'm afraid to say hello to because they're not approachable, but I still say hello to because sometimes that's all they need. And sometimes they're just, uh, they just have natural a-hole qualities, but hopefully they can learn to be approachable from my actions. Yeah, not everybody is particularly nice, Lauren. And as we are approachable and as we approach others, we'll realize that not everybody is somebody that we want to necessarily be friends with. But we have to understand that even though the people around us are not necessarily always somebody that we want to get to know better or somebody that we want to be friends with, and maybe maybe we meet somebody in our life who really isn't all that pleasant. that they can still learn something from us. We can still learn something from them. So, and I mean, I remember when I was not a very approachable person. Okay, so I recall at this point a little story coming into my head of, when I was maybe in my early 20s. I was just barely old enough to drink. So, 20, probably 21. And and so being 21, being old enough to drink, being officially a grown up, then I was going out to various nightclubs and stuff and trying to find out, like, hey, where are the people having fun? Well, what are the where are the people doing the stuff that I want to do? And so I started going off to nightclubs and things like that. And I remember that I went there, but I didn't know how to act because I just had not been enculturated that way. I hadn't been socialized that way. And because I didn't know how to act, I was just being surly to everybody. And I remember that these two beautiful girls came up to me and they just started dancing with me and dancing on me. And I didn't know what to do with that. Like, I was 21, I was socially awkward. I was in a new location, and I was being very judgmental of all the people around me because they were different, because they were partying differently than the way that I was used to partying. And I remember that I just gave off these incredibly unapproachable vibes. And I just remember these girls came up and they danced on me, and it just made me more miserable. And then they left. And they probably left because, well, because they realized that hanging around with me was going to be a dry hole. And so I don't blame them for doing it. But but in the end, I learned something from that experience. In fact, I still remember what happened when those two girls came up and danced on me. Uh, but I remember that there was just a small part of me that just loosened up a little bit. And but though it didn't affect though it didn't affect the way that I interacted in that particular social situation, it certainly did affect me for the whole rest of my life. Because these two people came up, and they were choosing to be approachable. They were reaching out for some connection with somebody who didn't want to be connected to. And even though we didn't, I'd like to say that those two girls broke me open, and I was able to go out and have fun and dance and enjoy the fact that I was at a nightclub. But that's not what happened. I was just as miserable as I had been at the end of the night. But when I went home and I thought about that, I was like, why am I like this? Why did I intentionally why did I intentionally push away people who were trying to connect with me? And even though it took many, many more years for me to get over myself, I still remember that interaction, and I still remember how I wasn't approachable, and how my presence did not invite that connection, how my presence did not invite that trust. And yet other people were willing to give me the time of day because they saw something inside of me, even as I was being quite the curmudgeon. They saw something inside of me, and helped me to grow. And so even as we approach people who are not necessarily aligned with us, as those girls did at that nightclub so many years ago, but even as we approach people, and we choose to be approachable to people that are not necessarily fully aligned with us, we also can teach them valuable lessons in their lives, and hopefully help them to interact just a little bit better. It's not our job to change anybody overnight. It is our job to be ourselves and to be fully ourselves. And as we are fully ourselves, it gives other people permission slip to be fully themselves. And perhaps the after doing that, we are just leaving this world a better place than we found it. So let's see here. Lauren and Dan are talking about the way that they met. So I guess let's see here. Yeah. So Dan says to Lauren, "Remember how we met?" And Lauren says to Dan, "Oh yes, I gave you a birthday lap dance and asked what's your name with a big smile." That's a good way of doing it. Uh, Crystal says, "I am approachable. My presence invites connection and trust, and sometimes awkward conversations, which I have come to love." Yeah, we have to get past that awkwardness. We have to get over ourselves. Ultimately, our awkwardness just comes from our own judgment of ourselves, thinking that we don't fit, thinking that for some reason we are out of our league. I remember that when I first really started to get a real friend group, that that I commented. I actually commented to John L, who's on the broadcast today. I said, I don't know how I ended up with such cool people. And he said, well, have you ever considered that maybe you are a cool person? And boy, did that sink deep, because I'm like, wow, I must be. I mean, water seeks its own level. If I'm hanging around with people who I think are super cool, they must also think that I'm super cool. Neat. Never had that feeling before. And so indeed, that's that's something that helped me get over some of my own social awkwardness. Uh, let's see here. All right, so I appreciate you thinking it's a great show today, Shauna. It's actually a show that's running pretty long. We've been at this for almost 30 minutes. I want to say thank you guys so much for being over here. Thank you for coming by and enjoying this time with me. You are an approachable person, so just realize that today. As you go out into life, as you meet people that you don't otherwise know or don't know that well, just recognize that you're approachable. Recognize that your very presence invites that connection, and therefore speak boldly. Therefore, be bold, but act assumptively. Assume that the people who are around you want to be your friend. Assume that the people who are around you want to get to know you a little bit, and that they also have something valuable for you. As we've said before in this show, and I will say again, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. Life is a going together kind of a thing. Life is a going far kind of a thing. I desire to go far in life, and all of the going far that I've ever done has happened as a direct result of me making connections with other people, which started with me being approachable and me approaching others. So I will return tomorrow. I want to say thank you guys so much for being here. Man, we had just quite the crowd today. So thank you so much. I appreciate seeing you today, Janet and Shauna, Lauren and Dan, Jin and Kelly. So wonderful to see you guys. So wonderful to see you guys here today. It is so good to see you here. Let's see. Let's see. It looks like it's good to see you here, Kelly and Shauna and Eric. And let's see who else has come by today. Good morning to you, Crystal. Good to see you this morning. Good morning, John L. Um, let's see. How's it going there, Danelle? It's really good to see you here on the wake up call. Good morning. Good morning. Say hi to my mom for me next time you see her. I would very much appreciate to see everybody here on the call this morning. But you are approachable today, and so let us be approachable today. Let us expand our social networks, and let us also expand our own social net worth. Yeah, as we do that. Let's be that hub onto which many spokes are connected, and as we navigate life. Because as we do, and as we do with all the various connections that we make, we are ultimately setting ourselves up for a great amount of success. My friends, I love you. I care about you. I think that you're amazing. And if you're ever in a situation where you're feeling socially awkward and you see me, come and approach me, because I love you for who you are, and I will always tell you that, and always remind you of your own internal amazing qualities. So we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. with another card, with another affirmation, with another daily reminder about who we truly are as people. This world does not always have the best messaging for us, but the wake up call with Maui Paul does. And so I really appreciate you guys coming here every morning at 9 a.m. If if you like this show, you feel like this message needs to be expanded, I really appreciate it when you share this, and when you just your liking, commenting, and sharing is a tremendous boon to this show. So I'll talk to y'all tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, once again, I love you and care about you, and aloha from paradise.